on Team the Bad. He is the ZergLord.
And his opponent in the southwest position. Oh my God, who isn't on Team Exxon? These guys are supporting so many players. He is Cham.
We have been sponsoring a lot of players, a lot of good players, I guess. It's kind of like, oh man,
yeah, that helps. Sponsoring the good players is definitely considered to be a winning strategy.
No, I mean to say, like, I was trying to think of the other team who's done it recently too, but I can't think of it right now. But I'll go with Psystorm. You know, back in the day, I feel like they grabbed a lot of really like good up and comers that eventually just started to appear more and more on the broadcast, especially as you got like Challenger going on and whatnot. And it feels like Exxon did the same thing. Every time I'm thinking of like good players that are on the up and up, I'm like, oh yeah, they're in Team Exxon.
Yeah, they are. Oh, those guys do a great job. Those guys do an absolutely fantastic job. And I gotta say, as we go into this match, Cham has been a player that I've always been a big fan of. I think this region in general, despite I mean, it's not really like a secret that Latin America has a little bit of a smaller professional player pool, kind of like any other smaller region, if we're being honest with ourselves. But part of that is because Special kind of stifles the entire scene, right? Like no matter how high you climb, like you could be like, oh my God, I did it. I made it on top of Mount Everest. And then you look up and Special's still like somehow on a ladder, like 200 feet above you. Like, what's up, dude? And it's just so hard to actually overcome that towering persona of the LATAM scene. But Cham is someone that we actually do see kind of reach those echelons every now and again. Beating him? No, not really. But getting close enough to be beaten by Special instead of someone else? Definitely.
I like the way you put it at the end. I'm in agreement. Like I would say people usually put it as like Special. And
that's right. He knows about this.
Yes, he does.
How many banelings does it take to get to the center of a Nidus Worm? Not 3. It's 4.
I'd say 4 based off of that.
Yeah.
Oh, and Queens were put in first.
2 roaches made it across. What do you see, ZergLord? Well, there's some units here. I'm dying. I've been puked on by another roach to death, and we'll try to build another worm. But that doesn't seem like it's gonna. No, there's many more roaches here to kill the other worm. 4 roaches made it out this time. Excuse me, 5. My apologies. And they're also all going to die.
Yeah, this is all happening before +1 is even done. Now it's done, so if he moved across the map, he could try and do something. But yeah, he didn't even actually have any extra queens. I just assumed he, misplaced them. But nope, no queens or transfuses. And Cham is at, he was at even army supply. Now he's ahead in army supply, finishing up his own roach speed and +1. There really was no concern, apparently. I think even if it had popped up the first Nidus Worm, it would have still been held. And now it is time for Cham to look really strong because he's been up by 10 plus workers and now has 30 more army supply.
Yeah, well, that pretty much says it all, doesn't it, Zombie Grub? I mean, Cham has had that 3rd base up super fast. Cham's had more drones. He's going to continue to drone up. ZVZ is definitely a matchup where you can throw. If you decide, hey, all I'm going to do is just build units and try to kill the other guy, and they react even half decently, and then obviously by spending all your larva on units instead of workers, that's always the discussion that we have in this matchup. Usually it's between like 2 players that are going to end up being a little bit closer result-wise as far as talking about the ability level, and not to keep hammering away at this, but just I don't mind trying to do a risky attack like that. I actually don't even mind that he went for the fast 3rd. Now that we saw him, wanting to do a Nidus play, because he was just trying to make him think that he's being greedy, to be like, oh, I'm the unfavored player. I'm going to be greedy and try and see if I can just kind of get away with it. But as you said, his plan originally may have been to always go for a Nidus. He just wanted him to think that he couldn't do anything because he went for a fast 3rd that got shut down, when that wasn't actually, the end game for his strategy here. But regardless, the Nidus, it didn't work, and he's going to try to go into mutas. But Cham is building Hydras. He's getting range. I think he's going to make sure he has a spore in each base. If he doesn't already, he'll probably build maybe a few on his way out, and then just try to go attack. Cute little delay on the +2 attack, though. Did get it with the Contaminate. However, this is a rather large number of Zergy boys on the way over here for Cham to trying to attack Mr. ZergLord.
He knows he's got a lead from the earlier portion of the game, and he also knows his opponent is investing into a Spire, and she's scouted in the main base, so he just rams all of his Roaches forward, no finesse, no waiting for his own Ravagers, takes out the Roach buffer, so the juicy Ravagers in the middle get taken down as well, and that is Cham doubling, tripling, quadrupling the army supply. GG. Cham with the 1-0.
That'll do. And his opponent in the bottom right. I'm always trying to like time this awkwardly because of the intro sounds. We have the red Zerg player representing the bad clan. He is the TheZergLord.
Yeah, we're just kind of guessing, so. Not that his opener is anything like so weird that it really is worth talking about, but as they do open up relatively similar, I wonder why Cham, the second game he's done it, he went for 13-14 drone and then 14 overlord, which, you know, usually it's the 13 drone and then overlord and then 14 drone. It is so small, it is, I guess, insignificant because they both have very equal resources and workers and hatchery timings, but you know, usually you see them go up to 14 out of 14 with drones, and then they extractor trick. And he didn't do that either. So I'm wondering, did he know something that we don't know, that other Zergs don't know?
Zombie Grub, I'm going to be honest with you. The first thing I noticed at the beginning of this game is that Cham actually attacked his own hatchery. He did damage to his own hatchery with a drone. Yeah, a drone spawned. It was going to mine. He A-clicked his own hatch. I saw the health bar appear because I use damaged health bars. And I'm just, you know, is that grounds? Do we need to have a sit down with him? Do we need to have a chat with him? You know what I mean? Is this some sort of weird, deep-seated psychological mind game he's pulling even on us just watching and observing this match? I'm not entirely sure. But the only way to find out is to make it through this series. And you do have the drone for Cham going to build the third. The TheZergLord, he is going to be also grabbing the third base at a pretty decent time. Got it a little bit earlier than him as well. And the other thing I'm going to just point out here too is there's no ling speed for TheZergLord either. So he got something to be safe again, but we should expect him to head in the direction of roaches, right? Probably, well, I would guess, maybe Muta Rush.
Yeah, you don't do much else. You're gonna get a Baneling Nest with no ling speed. It's kind of awkward. I wonder what he does to stop Cham from doing what he did last game, though. Unless he just, again, hopes that Cham doesn't make enough lings to punish it. Because they have Cham's like, oh no, we're actually doing this. We're doing both the same thing. And he only makes 6 lings. And he's like, oh no, you skipped, like, then I could see it working. But as long as Cham makes about 16 lings, a couple banelings, sure, why not? They could just get a wrapper onto the hatchery. And that roach horn doesn't produce roaches fast enough to help out there. So, yeah, I'm pretty much just question marking this one.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's hard. Well, he's trying, right? If anything, it's a learning experience in kind of deciphering the movements, the way that these early games can play out against specifically Cham. And Cham does the same thing that he did last game, basically, right? He gets his little ling count advantage because there is no speed from the opponent. There's no Zergling presence. He had 4 lings to defend that hatchery the first time he tried to poke it, but
oh no!
If yours, oh no! Oh come on! Didn't have to do him like that. He didn't have to do him like that. And the lings make it in. 1 queen dead. Doesn't even want to try to kill the other one. Just gonna pick off these wounded drones as they attempt to flee. But oof. Well.
Yeah, that was not supposed to happen.
Hard to stay positive about this one.
Slightly out of position. Yeah. I guess the TheZergLord tries a Nidus Form again? I don't know. Maybe just moving across the map this time would be the surprise factor. Cham, however, already up in workers, could go into roaches just to be super safe. Just be like, oh, I don't want to die to a silly attack. Or he could actually probably make a few more drones and still be okay. As these lings and his overlord sees the roaches moving in a very aggressive pattern, you just hold the roach button and then have his lings, I guess, stop any attempt at getting a hatchery. This is not the ideal situation for the TheZergLord. Not only losing his drones and his queens, but also having to move across the map before roach speed and +1. But as soon as he reaches the wall of Cham's roaches, we might just have a tap out.
Yeah, the setup is already going together. I mean, spines take forever to build. There's no creep in front, so the positioning can be a little bit awkward if you get caught somewhat. You need that roach speed a little bit faster, and maybe even that upgrade. The Lings are able to help from the backside. A couple of those roaches actually weren't even shooting. Like, they were trying to path around the Zerglings that were on top of them. And with the Queens assisting and having a transfuse, it's just not going to be enough.